Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Tim Burgess with Maximizing Results, and together with my business partner Al Lindeman, Josh Burgess, Jim Phelan, and just a group of people at Maximizing Results that are phenomenal individuals. We've put together this presentation for you to help you produce better results and do it in less time. That's what it's all about. Now, I know that you love the real estate industry. You wouldn't be in it if you didn't love it. But I'd also bet you'd like to produce better results in less time, or you wouldn't be here. Let's just be brutally honest with one another today, okay? No beating around the bush or anything like that. But what we'd really like to help you do, whether you're a brand new agent, whether you're a veteran agent, whether you're somewhere in between, it doesn't matter. We would like to help you go out and yet this year earn $100,000 with what's left this year. And oh, by the way, do that in just 6 hours a day. Now, before you just build your skepticism meter and your wall goes up, just relax for a second. Truly, if you were to completely commit and dedicate those 6 hours and stay focused, I think you'd realize that $100,000 is very doable. There's no question about it. It's very doable for you to earn that kind of money and do it, yes, this year. Absolutely. And ladies and gentlemen, if you know, I know you're busy. I know you've got a lot of things to do. I know that, you know, distractions are trying to get you, but I have a very special gift for you if you're here at the end. The way technology is today, we know who's here now. We know whose leads are, we know everything. And you know that about this technology. But if you're here at the end of this webinar, if you're here at the end of the presentation, we have a very special gift for you that you can use today to increase your productivity and to do it more efficiently and more effectively. And if you're here at the end, we'll take a print off of the roster of everybody who's here at the end, and we will send this to you. It's just our gift to say thank you. It truly is for you sticking with us all the way through everything we have to talk about today, because everything is vitally important for your success. I mean, do you really want to earn $100,000 in what's left of this year? Because you can. There's no question about whether or not you can. The only question is, will you have the right system that allows you to earn that amount of money while you still have time to live your life? You know, and ladies and gentlemen, we get this question all the time. And the question is, why in the world do you do this? I mean, why do you do this? And really, we do this because when I got into the real estate industry, ladies and gentlemen, I was taught to cold call people and just offer a free CMA just to get my foot in the door. Oh my gosh, that's a painful death in this business. And I did this on a part-time basis for about 6 months. And I was being told by the people in that little office, I was a little mom and pop company, a little broker in a suburb of Cincinnati, Ohio, and they were telling me that you really don't want to call for sale by owners because you need to be a better agent. You need to have more experience. I mean, they were telling me all sorts of things about how mean they were and how nasty they were, and they might even eat their young. And I was told after this 6 months of part-time and not getting any listings, not doing very well at all, I was told I should probably quit. Well, I did quit. I quit my job. I quit my job at the time. I jumped in full-time, and it was after Thanksgiving of all times. And I was also told that, you know, not very many people list their homes in December. Well, I found that to be a bunch of garbage. I went on to list 17 houses during that December, 17 of them. We closed one of those houses before the end of December. And what happened was I finally figured out how to implement the success principles that I had been learning for about 3.5 years prior to getting into real estate. We do this to supply you with the information that will allow you to earn over 100 grand this year while you have time to enjoy it, while you have time to enjoy the kids, while you have time to enjoy your life, while you have time to go on vacation and the money to enjoy it. That's why we do this, to help you first and foremost. Because when I got in this business, I was being taught wrong. And I'm very thankful every day for the mentors that I had prior to getting in this business, because that's what allowed me to do what I pulled off when I got in this business. One of the things we want to ask you to do, ladies and gentlemen, is we realize distractions are coming at you from every direction imaginable. Studies say that we're distracted every 23 seconds or something like that. We're distracted. And it takes some enormous amount of time to get our focus back. So what I ask you to do is take a moment right now and maybe close the office door, put the phone on mute. I mean, I've got my cell phone. It's not on vibrate. It's on mute. Turn it off. I will not be distracted while we do this. The office door is locked. Just me. I'm in my home office today, so me and my little wiener dog running around here somewhere. Oh, he's asleep in my office chair. But I don't want to be distracted. I will not allow distractions to get me, and I'm asking you to do the same thing. We will share information with you today that allowed me, this kid to quit school in the 8th grade to go out and earn hundreds of thousands of dollars. And we'll share that information. So please allow yourself to pay attention, to focus so you can receive what we're trying to give you, okay? And once again, ladies and gentlemen, my name's Tim Burgess. And why in the world should you listen to me today? Why in the world should you be on this webinar listening to me, this kid that seems like he's just full of energy? I call myself a kid. I'm in my 50s. But they're just full of energy, full of life. When in 1980, I dropped out of the 8th grade. I quit school. I didn't even graduate the 8th grade. And for the next 16 years, I bounced around from job to job. I'm all over the place. I had one job at a restaurant less than the full shift. I quit mid-shift. I went to truck driving school. I did over the road. That lasted for about a month. Why? Because I just don't want to live in a truck. I take my hat off to those people. I have so much respect for them. It just wasn't for me. So in February of 1996, I replied to an ad for a sales job, and I walk into this giant room, and I find myself in a network marketing company. I didn't want to be in a network marketing company at the time, ladies and gentlemen. But there was something that was said that night that made me think. And I had probably thought for the first time in my life. Please do not confuse mental activity with thinking. They're two totally different things, but more on that later. This company became the fastest growing privately held company in the United States. They went from 0 to $195 million in just 5 years, and they outgrew Microsoft, according to Inc. magazine. And I figured maybe I should be quiet and listen to them instead of trying to convince them to listen to me. So 3.5 years later, after working with that company and doing public presentations and working as a regional coordinator and flying in and setting up seminars and all this stuff, that company went by the wayside. More on that later if you're interested. So in December of 1999, I find myself jumping into real estate full-time in December. That month, I listed 17 houses, ladies and gentlemen. I completed 92 transactions my first year. I went from $23,000 to $139,000 in 1 year. Increased my income 604%. But I have to be transparent. It was chaotic as hell. I worked over 60 hours a week, sometimes 70. It was crazy. The income was good, but I had no time to really enjoy it. My wife thought that I'd married somebody else. It was called an office at a real estate building. And there was no system in place. It was chaotic, ladies and gentlemen. In just a couple of years, from implementing the success strategies we want to talk to you about today, in just a couple of years, I tripled that income, and I did it in half of the amount of time. Now, I know for some of you, you're going, no way, impossible. You can't possibly earn that much money in real estate and only work 30 or 35 hours. Well, ladies and gentlemen, please understand that's your belief pattern. It may not even be reality, but it's your belief pattern. And we did earn well into the $300,000 mark, and we did that on 35 hours a week. So what we're talking about today, about getting $100,000 in income for you in the remainder of what's left in 2019, we have already done. And we can show you how to do that. Ladies and gentlemen, studying with that mentor, studying the success principles truly allowed me to make a dramatic change in my life. A dramatic one, not a small one. If you look at the picture on the right, there's not much eyes there. As a matter of fact, my eyes are non-existent. Well, it's because I might have been smoking something that they now make legal in a lot of states. But anyway, it was because of the training and the teaching from that mentor, and mainly this book called Think and Grow Rich that allowed me to make this transformation in my life. Now, when I got the instructions in February of 1996, what that man told me was to get a copy of that book and study it every day for the remainder of my life. That's what he told me. Now, and personally at the time, I thought maybe he was smoking something and maybe I should join him so we could be on the same wavelength. But then I realized he had Lamborghinis and he had Ferraris and he had estates and he had a custom built airplane and he had mega yachts and boats, and he did what he wanted, when he wanted, how he wanted, with who he wanted. And if he needed a ride, he could always call a helicopter and they'd come and get him. And I realized something. Maybe I should pay attention to him and listen and maybe start studying this book. And ladies and gentlemen, I have done that now for well over 23 years. Every day I read something out of that book you have in front of you on your screen. Every day. I don't miss a day. Now, I don't read a chapter a day. I might read a sentence. Now, this particular book was actually written in 1937 at the direction of Andrew Carnegie. And it was a 25-year study of success principles, why broke people are broke and why wealthy people are wealthy, and what is the difference between the two groups. I had never heard of anything like this growing up. I grew up in a very middle-income household. Dad left when I was young. I started making my own decisions when I was 12 years old. By the time I was 14 years old, I think I was addicted to marijuana. Doesn't matter anymore. That's all history stuff. It doesn't matter. But I was trying to convince them that they should listen to me, and they're telling me just study this material. And then they started asking me, Tim, imagine what your life would be like if you earned $10,000 a month. Or you earned $5,000 a month. At that time, I'd never earned more than $2,000 a month in any month I'd ever worked. Now, I had big dreams, goals, and aspirations, much like you. I wanted $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 a month. But I certainly didn't know how to get there. And they were asking me these questions, and I didn't really get it. And then I got into real estate, and boom, it all happened. $20,000 a month wasn't uncommon at all. So I'm going to ask you a question. I mean, truly, imagine what your life would be like when you've got 21 active listings. You've got 11 pending properties on their way to closing. 7 appointments are already set up. Why? Because you're working a machine. You're working a system that is proven to work. Instead of showing up at the office kind of haphazardly, winging your real estate business. And let's be honest, let's be brutally honest, most people in real estate are winging their business. They show up at the office. I'm here. I don't know what the heck I'm going to do. I got it. I'll move a stack of papers again. I'll clean up my office. Let's get a system in place for you, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get a system that's proven to work. And you'll have those 21 actives. You'll have 11 pendings. You'll have 7 appointments set up. You have a team of people willing to serve you. Now, I'm not talking about you building this massive team. We all have a team of people serving us. You can't go anywhere or do anything without people serving you. But the one thing my mentor stressed over and over and over again, he said, Tim, you've got to get your mind right. You've got to get your mind right. Now, I had heard that many times, ladies and gentlemen, but I still had no idea what the heck he was talking about. And I'm going to ask you and instruct you, really, you've got to get your mind right. Now, I'm going to help you, not me, we are going to help you with a real simple visualization on how to do that. It's not hard. Ladies and gentlemen, the thing about all of this is it's very simple. This is 3rd grade elementary stuff. But for some reasons, we as humans like to complicate everything. I won't figure that out. But ladies and gentlemen, we will walk you through a process that allowed this kid to quit school in the 8th grade to go out and increase his income 604%. Now, my results aren't typical, and the average person may not do anything with the information, but that's up to you, not up to me. I'll tell you straight away, this is not for the get-rich-quick person or the person who wants to get without giving. We are happy to show you exactly what works. However, it's up to you to implement the process. We will not do that for you. We'll help you. We'll hold you by the hand. We'll take you down the right road. We'll make sure of that. Oh, and by the way, we have a vested interest in that. but we can't do it for you. So my first mentor, he was full of questions. And I'll never forget one day he asked me, he said, Tim, there's two groups of people on the planet. You have 97% of the population that retires broke, dependent upon friends, family, and the federal government to get by. And you have 3% of the population who reach total financial independence. Now, when we say total financial independence, ladies and gentlemen, we don't mean millions and millions and millions of dollars. Total financial independence is different for each person. What one finds totally financially successful, another one might find poverty. So we're only talking about you having the ability and being able to make decisions based on what you wish to do, not based on a number in a bank account. That's independence to me. So what's the difference between these two groups of people? Well, ladies and gentlemen, today we'll answer that question. Hopefully you'll discover it on your own before we actually get to the end, but we will help you with that. And another question that he liked to ask, and I'll never forget this one, is how do we think? Now, are you kidding me? How do we think? What a preposterous question. I had never heard anything like this. And he said, Tim, if we don't know how, we've got to get our mind right to really accomplish things. So if we don't know how we think, it'll probably be difficult to get our mind right. So let's keep things simple. Let's keep it basic. He said, basic, my ears perked up. I quit school in the 8th grade because I like simplicity. Let's keep it that way. He said, Tim, how we think is very, very simple. We think in pictures. I mean, if I ask you to think of an airplane or a hot air balloon or a sports car or a mega yacht, you get an image on the screen of your mind. If I ask you to think of your kitchen, you get an image on the screen of your mind. He said, if the more clarity you have in the image, the less confusion you have. And then he asked me, he said, think of your kitchen. So I did. I got a very clear picture of my kitchen in my mind. He said, now think of my kitchen. And I had no image to work with. He said, see, where I ask you to think of your kitchen, you have clarity. When I ask you to think of my kitchen, you have confusion. So now what does your business look like 1 year, 3 years, and 5 years down the road? Do you have clarity or do you have confusion? And I was honest with the man. I had confusion at the time. He said, that we will fix. Because where you have confusion, you also have worry, doubt, and fear. Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't have clarity as to what your business looks like, you have worry, doubt, and fear working. Let's eliminate that by creating clarity. What does your mind look like? Was the next question he asked. Mind, he said, yeah, you have images that are flashing on the screen of your mind. What does your kitchen look like? There's an image that just flashed on your mind. I said, okay, I'm with you. He said, now what does your mind look like? And I drew a blank. I had never heard a question like this. He said, Tim, it's very simple. Allow it to be easy, my friend. Allow it to be elementary. He said, in the 1930s, this guy named Dr. Thurman Fleet said, mind is an activity, not a thing. And since no one had ever seen the mind, he would create an image to work with to eliminate the confusion and bring us clarity. And he gave us what's called the stick person. I personally thought they had a drunk graphic artist. So I never saw a stick person with a head that big and a body that small. But once again, they said, Tim, pay attention. Pay attention. You have a mind and a body. You have a conscious and a subconscious. Now, I had heard those terms before. I'm sure you have too. They said in your conscious mind, you can think anything you want to think about. Nobody can force you to think something you do not wish to think. And those thoughts impressed upon the subconscious create a feeling. And if I were to ask you to think of your child if you have one, or think of your grandchild if you have one, or think of a puppy, and as you think of those euphoric things, a new feeling comes upon you. Here was the aha moment. It's the feeling that's expressed through the body into an action, not the thought. And then, of course, the action produces a result. So thoughts, feelings, actions, results. No shortcut, ladies and gentlemen, no shortcut. And the book Think and Grow Rich makes it abundantly obvious that that's exactly how it works. So are our thoughts pure about our industry? Or do we hear things like, good gosh, buyers are liars, sellers are yellers, can't get enough listings. We've been around real estate for a long time, many, many, many years. We understand the chatter that goes on out there, and most of it is negative, not just in the real estate industry, in all industries. Studies will tell us 80 to 85% of everything we're around is negative, ladies and gentlemen. It's up to us to make sure we have a positive feeling to get a positive result. That's on each one of us. But this webinar is really all about you. It's all about that one thing we want to talk about, how to earn 100 grand in 6 hours a day. Because it's not hard. It's not hard. It takes some discipline. It takes a desire to earn that amount of money. And it takes a willingness to grow outside of your comfort zone. It takes a willingness to learn a new skill. But today what I'd like to do is share with you 3 of the things and 3 of the secrets that we utilized to earn that amount of money. And the first thing is how 4 simple P's will dramatically increase your productivity. Not just a little bit, dramatically. 4 simple P's. The second thing we'd like to talk about is how we can decrease the amount of time spent with buyers by over 60%. Oh my, I was one of those people. We listed a lot of homes, ladies and gentlemen. I was one of those people. I did not want to run with buyers. Most of the real estate community today sits around waiting for the buyers from some internet lead, and that's where their life is spent, running all over the place with buyers. They're at the buyer's beck and call. If the buyer calls at 8 o'clock at night, I got to answer the phone. If it's at 10 o'clock at night, I got to return the text message. Oh my gosh, who is in control of your business? Let's do it right, ladies and gentlemen. Let's set up a system where the buyer looks at us as a true professional. Let's set up a system that absolutely works. And the third thing is how a simple guide to success can increase your efficiency by over 50%. Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't have a plan to succeed, you automatically have a plan to fail. If you don't have it in writing, your simple guide to success, you are making a huge mistake in your business. So in secret number 1, we think that everybody really should operate their business from the 4 P's to success formula. Now, it really doesn't matter whether you're selling, yourself in the real estate industry, or you're selling light bulbs to an amusement park, or you're selling floor cleaner to a big warehouse. The 4 P's to success formula, when implemented properly with the right attitude, will bring you success. There's absolutely no question about it. No question. So what are the 4 P's? If they're that powerful, I'd like to know what they are. Well, the first thing we have to do, ladies and gentlemen, is plan. Most people put more energy and effort into planning their next vacation than they do to plan their business and or their life. We do this in seminar all the time, ladies and gentlemen. I'll ask somebody, do you have a vacation coming up? Yes. How long have you been planning that? 6 months, 8 months. They're planning it for 6 to 8 months. It's a vacation. How about your daily method of operation? How about your business? Where is that plan? Where is that plan for success? And a lot of times they don't have it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, neither did I. I didn't have a plan for success. Quite honestly, I had a plan for getting the next bag of weed the next week. That's where my mind was. I had to completely shift my mind, completely rearrange my thoughts. Ladies and gentlemen, we will help you develop a plan so you will absolutely get the results that you desire. So the first P is the plan. The second P is practice. Oh my. Ladies and gentlemen, we talk to sales professionals, sales associates all around the world. And a very, very, very small percentage of them actually practice on a daily basis. And my question is, how in the world could you ever expect yourself to be a professional in anything that you're doing if you don't practice? In your real estate business, ladies and gentlemen, you should have practice in that calendar every day that you are working. If you're a veteran agent, you should be practicing still. If you're a brand new agent, you should be doing nothing but practicing until you develop the skill set necessary, so then you can go out and prospect. Here's the issue with sales, and it's a bad issue across the board. People jump into sales. They spend no time practicing and developing a skill set for effective communication, how to script and how to really connect to somebody's heart. And they go prospect anyway. And they call people and they don't know what to say. They get their butt kicked. And then they say that prospecting thing doesn't work. I apologize. Prospecting does work. It works all of the time for all of the sales associates who engage in it. But who are we prospecting? And what do we say to the prospect? Are we winging it? Do we have do we have a script that we have practiced to where it sounds like it's our own? We open our mouth and it just comes out? Or are we reading from a script so we sound like we're reading? Hi, my name is Tim. Your name is, oh, wait a minute. That's what it says there. It's not what I'm supposed to say. What are we doing? You see, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't practice your skill set, you probably won't prospect, or if you do prospect, you won't get the results you're looking for. And it's because you didn't practice. So there's the first 3 P's. And I can tell you straight away, the fortune's not in those 3. The fortune's in that one. Follow-up. You've all heard that. The fortune's in the follow-up. The fortune is in the follow-up. The fortune is in the follow-up. The fortune is in the follow-up. Let me ask you this question. How much business have you ever lost because you followed up too much? None. But then again, how much business have you lost because you didn't follow up enough? With the number of people on this call right now, millions of dollars have been left on the table because we didn't follow up enough. Why don't we follow up enough? Because we have this minutia running around in our own mind. It says, oh my gosh, I might be bothering somebody. Or you just simply don't know what to say. So your follow-up call becomes a train wreck. But if you will follow a very basic outline of repeat something that was said in a previous conversation, offer them something of value and ask for the appointment again, on and off the phone in 90 to 120 seconds, people welcome your follow-up. They actually thank you for it. Now, I know that this bumped into another belief pattern. People, thank you for the follow-up, Tim. No way. Yes way. If you do it efficiently and effectively and you're respectful and courteous of their time, yes way. No question about it. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll help you with that follow-up to where you absolutely can follow up with somebody every 2 to 3 days and they'll never get annoyed or bothered by you. Never. Never. Yes. In my first year, I massively increased my income. And it was chaotic as heck. It was working well over 60 hours a week, sometimes 70, and sometimes beyond. It was silly. It was crazy. No system in place, flying by the seat of my pants. True enthusiasm just driving me. However, when I implemented the 4 Ps into my business, put a system in place, I tripled my income in less than half the time. Now you tell me what you'd rather do. Work chaotically, go crazy nutso for 130 grand a year, or turn it into almost 400 grand a year in about 35 hours a week. See, that's the choice you have. It's your choice. And ladies and gentlemen, yes, you can do that. Now, if you'd have taken me back to when I first started studying the material, the Think and Grow Rich philosophy and success principles, and you'd have told me that I could easily earn 300 grand a year on 30 hours a week, I'd have told you you were drunk. I'd have said, what snake oil are you selling me? I'd have been all over the place with that. But ladies and gentlemen, we've done it. Not only myself, but we've helped other people, and very possibly in your community, to do it. Here we have one gentleman in Columbus, Ohio. His name's Zach. And he developed these habits, these really positive habits. Implemented the 4 Ps, 1 commission check, $270,000. 1 commission check. Now that doesn't mean you'll ever get there. This guy practiced his brains out and followed the system. Secret number 2, let's decrease the amount of time spent with buyers by 60%. Ladies and gentlemen, that's exactly what I did. We decreased it dramatically. Why? Because of a system. It's a very simple buyer system with a buyer presentation, which will allow you to decrease the number of showings for each client you get to work with. If you decrease the number of showings before they buy a house, you just decrease the amount of time. I decreased it dramatically. Once the system was implemented, we averaged showing 4 houses before a buyer would buy one. Before the system, our average was up between 10 and 11, I believe. It was a crazy savings of time. Crazy. Ladies and gentlemen, we have to operate a system. The buyer comes to the office prior to any showings. You don't just run out and show a house, especially if you're a female in this day and age. Good night, don't put yourself in that position. This allows you to demonstrate your professionalism. This allows you to make it very clear what they can expect from you, what you expect from them. They become comfortable working with you. They become very comfortable in this environment. You've shown your professionalism. Now you install a mutual agreement between you. And yes, now you have a client. So many people go running all over the place with buyers and there's no agreement. What are we doing? Would you list a house with no agreement? No, not a chance. Why in the world would you run around with a buyer for maybe weeks, giving them your time, your energy, your financial resources of fuel, automobile expenses? Why would you give them that without a mutual agreement? See, that to me, that seems silly, but I did it. I ran all over the place. I'll tell you, when I implemented this system, ladies and gentlemen, I ran with a buyer. We sold their house, got their home sold, and we ran around. We found them the next house. And this was very young in my career. It was the second month. And we had the home inspection done, and they found an issue with the fireplace. It's going to be about $1,100. Now, we beat this seller up pretty good. We got the house at a really good price, and he just was not willing to put out another $1,100. And I really don't blame him. I respect and understand where he came from. And the buyer was just up in arms over this, just could not get past it. So they decided to walk over $1,100. Now, to me, if you're going to walk over $1,100, it's not the right house, especially if it's $1,100 repair on a chimney. It's an older house. It's going to need some repairs, just the way it is. But they wanted to walk, so no problem. We work at their direction. We did a release of contract. They let us out of it, no problem. Earnest money returned. This was on a Wednesday, I believe. And they informed me that, I need to clear my schedule so I could show them houses all weekend. Well, I already had appointments that weekend. I already had appointments. I had appointments for buyers, sellers, and life. And I told them that. So they went out that weekend and they bought a house without me. And they went through another agent, and I didn't have a mutual agreement in place. I had no agreement at all. And I lost out on that. I'm not blaming them. I'm blaming myself for not having a system in place. But that was the last time I ever ran with any buyer anywhere ever without a mutual agreement in place. I'm a professional real estate consultant. I will act like one. That means we have agreements in place. That's just the way it is. And from that point forward, ladies and gentlemen, the buyers looked at me as more of a professional. They enjoyed the system. They enjoyed working in the system. They enjoyed doing a lot of the work on their own until they actually needed to get inside and see a house. It was absolutely fantastic, the transition that took place, all because we implemented a system that was directed at serving the client. It wasn't directed at serving me. It was to serve them better, serve them in a more professional manner, serve them to make sure they get the right house at the right price, at the right timing. It was all for them. And when we implemented that system, life got a lot better for us, no question about it. And the third thing, that if you'll do this, ladies and gentlemen, this is part of your foundation, your simple guide to success. Ladies and gentlemen, every business has to have a foundation, and let's be really brutally honest here. Let's be completely transparent. Most of the people in real estate have no foundation at all that they've built their business on. We did a continuing education seminar recently out in the east side of Cincinnati suburbs on the east side. And there was a veteran real estate in there, a real estate agent, excuse me. And this person had been around for over 25 years. And they were still struggling. You could see it in their eyes that they had no foundation whatsoever that they ever built their business on. 25 years later, they're still winging it. Are you kidding me? That's no way to build a business, folks. They got to build a foundation. You've got to have a plan to build that foundation. You need a guide. A simple guide to success will help you in ways that you don't even understand right now. And it begins with that right there. How much do you really want to earn? How much do you really want to earn in the next 12 months? And then how many hours a day and days per week and weeks per year do you really want to work? I mean, you really okay with 7 days a week being at the beck and call of anybody that picks up the phone and calls you, finds you on the internet? Really? I don't think that's the way you want to live your life. So let's create a plan. Let's take a look at a plan. Let's know how much we expect our company to pay us per hour. How much do you expect your company to pay you per hour? Oh my gosh, we're running a business, ladies and gentlemen. That's what we're doing. That's not a hard business. Real estate's very simple. In the early 90s, I owned I was a partner in a couple of restaurants. Whew, try to run that business. No, thank you. All the employees calling in sick, this, that, and everything else. No, this one's easy. How much do you demand your business pay you for every hour you work? And then how many transactions do we have to close? How many satisfied customers must we have for us to reach our goal? In other words, we're creating a plan. If we don't have this plan, how can you build your daily method of operation around it? How do you know what to do when you get into the office? You don't. You have no idea. And then this right here, the strategy, this little page right here is where the rubber starts to meet the road. And this is where you write a story as if it's already completed. Now, I don't have time to, in our short period of time today, ladies and gentlemen, I apologize. I would love to spend the next hour on just this piece to help you understand it so you can absolutely do it to better your business, to better your life. I'm not saying you don't have a good life now. I said to better it. But to really understand this process, stay tuned. Really, stay tuned and pay attention. We'll do all we can to help you. So let me ask you a question. I mean, I've been going on now for about 40 minutes, 35 minutes or so. And you have an opportunity today. You truly do. To work with us directly to build a solid foundation under your business. So you can go out and earn 100 grand, 200 grand, 300 grand each and every year while you have time to enjoy it. And that's what the opportunity is here, is for you to work with us directly. Because, yeah, we've shared some information, and yes, we can give you the script for this or give you the information when we have a wonderful gift. Don't go anywhere. It's absolutely fantastic if you're still here at the end. But all of this information, ladies and gentlemen, is absolutely useless unless you know how to use the information. You know, in the book Think and Grow Rich, there's a chapter that's called Specialized Knowledge. And remember, Napoleon Hill studied people like Henry Ford, Thomas Edison, Wanamaker, Rockefeller, Alexander Graham Bell, people that were very, very successful. And in that chapter, he says this. He says, knowledge is only potential power. Knowledge, information, same thing. It becomes power only when and if it is organized into definite plans of action and directed to a definite end. Plan, and what do you really want? What's your goal? Ladies and gentlemen, we'll help you understand how to use all this knowledge, and you don't even have to pay us for it until you get results. We operate everything under what's called a produce before you pay platform. In other words, ladies and gentlemen, we want your commitment more than anything else. We help people all around the United States, all over the world. We don't have a credit card on file for them. They produce results. We get paid. This is the only mentoring system in the world that allows you to produce before you pay. Every other mentoring system in this industry, ladies and gentlemen, you will get out a credit card or you will not be part of that system. That's just the way it is. I've been in 9 other real estate mentoring systems, 9 of them. And every one of them demanded a credit card and a minimum of $1,500 per month that they would ring that card up. We don't do it that way. This is the only mentoring system in the world that allows you to produce what before you pay. You will know what to do with the knowledge. You will know how to take the knowledge and turn it into hundreds of thousands of dollars per year for you and your family, to give you plenty of time to go on vacation if that's what you want to do, to really, really get into a better relationship, because we get this money game out of the way. Have more order in your life. You'll know what to do with the knowledge. Mr. Grotto, he took us up on this. He studied it. This gentleman, over $125,000 a year on less than 25 hours per week by following the system. Mr. Grotto likes his vacations. Mr. Grotto likes to go away and play. So what will you receive? Well, first of all, 100 grand in income in 2019 by following the system. You follow it, you'll get the income. 52 weeks of mentoring, 52 weeks of hand-holding, 24/7 access to a coach. I have been in 9 other real estate systems or real estate mentoring systems, ladies and gentlemen. Not one time did I have a cell phone and 24/7 access. Not one time. You have 4 cell numbers. You can get a hold of one of us if you have a question. Practice with a pro. Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't practice, you will never be a pro in anything that you do. Period. End of story. End of discussion. We have a gentleman that gets on the line in the mornings, 8 a.m., who, in my opinion, is absolutely one of the best people in the United States to help you deliver the message you wish to deliver. You will receive for sale by owner appointments. You will get expired appointments, and they'll be eager and anxious to meet with you. Now, I know that your belief pattern may not want to accept that. Oh my gosh, a for sale by owner actually eager to meet with me, Tim? Are you smoking that stuff again? No. They will be eager to meet with you once you develop the skill to use effective communication. That doesn't happen by accident, ladies and gentlemen. It takes practice. We have a gentleman on that line that absolutely is one of the best, I'll say in the country, I'll say in the world, at helping you deliver that message. He is truly that good. A to Z on building the proper foundation underneath your business. Not just the foundation, the proper foundation. This gentleman, Ken Grotto, since he started with us, he went from 40 grand into 6 figures. Now you saw Ken in his suit and his tie. There's Ken when he's playing, and Ken likes his motorcycles. You know, ladies and gentlemen, if Ken can do it, I'm nobody special. I'm nothing special. If I can do this, you can do this. I mean, we have these tools all in place for you now to shorten the learning curve. I jumped in with none of the tools and listed 17 houses and closed 92 transactions. These tools are to help you shorten your learning curve so you too can go out and produce those types of results. I mean, look at where I began. My goodness. If I can do this, ladies and gentlemen, you can do this. No question about it. We also will take you through the simple guide. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll hold your hand all the way through this thing. All the way through it. Make sure that story at the end is right. And then what do we do with the story once we've written it? What do we do with it then? We'll make sure you know exactly what to do to get the production levels that you want. And once again, make sure you remember, all of this is on Produce Before You Pay. The only mentoring system in the world that allows you to do that. A to Z on building the foundation. In-depth effective communication. Think and Grow Rich, we'll go in-depth in that book. Responsible leadership. My business partner, Mr. Alan Lindeman, 30 years of responsible leadership training, responsible leadership study. He'll share that with you. You don't have to pay him either. It's all under Produce Before You Pay guidelines, everything. Presentation skills. You're going out on a listing presentation, you show up at the door, you knock on the door. What's the next thing you should do? We ask that question all over the country to real estate agents, to veterans. They've been in the business 20 years. I ask that question and they look at me like I'm a zoo animal. After you ring the doorbell or knock on the door, what do you do? I've heard people in 25 years in the business say hi. Oh my goodness. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a step-by-step process here. If you follow it, you have a much better chance at the listing. Right at the front door, if you make this mistake, you've reduced your chances of taking that listing by 85 to 90%. Right here. It's simple, ladies and gentlemen. It's truly that simple. We'll take you through the 4 P's. Plan, practice, prospect, and persistent follow-up. What do you really want? What do you really want? Are you willing to prospect? Are you willing to get good at it? Are you willing to develop the skills? Effective communication. Ladies and gentlemen, this one module right here has a value of over $14,000. Just learning that. The personality traits, what do they like, what do they not like, all of this material, it's all part of it. All part of it. You get this. You also get the active listening. As studies tell us, ladies and gentlemen, over 70% of the time we don't listen actively, we just wait for our turn to talk. That's probably not the right thing to do if you're in a situation where you should be listening to everything they do, not just the words, tonality, body language, so many other things to listen to that most people don't. Speaking of body language, we need to learn to read it. What's the body language telling us? Is it saying the same thing the words are? Ladies and gentlemen, we'll go in depth in that, in depth. And, you know, I want to talk about something. It was several years ago that I was doing I was with a Remax brokerage at the time, and I was doing a training for the brokerage on prospecting. And there were two people there were a lot of people showed up that night, but two people stood out. And I'd like to talk about the tale of two people here. We go through the prospecting training, we get the script out, I help them with the script, we practice the script a few times, and then I pull out a whole bunch of sheets. And these all are for sale by owner leads. And I start handing them out. And one gentleman got excited. And it was like, wow, cool. You not only a script, but you practice with us and you're going to show us how to do this. Cool. And another person, no exaggeration, they broke out in hives. They were so nervous to pick up the phone and actually call somebody, they broke out in hives. This person that you're looking at, Mr. Cooper, he went forward and he learned to practice and he learned to prospect and he learned to follow up and he learned to build a business. When I met him in 2009, he was ordering used brake parts from eBay. The guy was broke. He couldn't pay attention. In that year, he went from 19,000 to 89 grand in 1 year. Today, he owns his own brokerage, and he's getting ready to open the second office. He also owns another business. He owns a toy business. He's building his businesses on a solid foundation. Mr. Cooper used to be somewhat of an introvert, and he's turned into somewhat of an extrovert. He wants to be on the board of realtors as a director. Ladies and gentlemen, when we met Mr. Cooper, he didn't have the money to pay for mentoring, coaching, and guidance. The only way he could do it is under the produce before you pay category. And yes, 10 years later, if you'd like his phone number, I'll give it to you. 10 years later, Mr. Cooper still studies with us. Mr. Cooper still invests in himself for our training 10 years later. Now, if he's doing it 10 years later and he's opening new brokerages and opening new offices and has a business of toys and literally went from living in a little bitty condo to now he lives on a golf course in a beautiful two-story with a nice heated pool and drives a Mercedes, stuff like this, all that materialistic stuff doesn't mean diddly-do to us. The point is he's got control of his business, and he did it all under the produce before you pay category because he didn't have the money to get in. He didn't have it, folks. We'll go through prospecting. We'll show you how to prospect. We'll work with you. It's not uncommon for me to jump on a video conference with a client and prospect with them. As a matter of fact, when we're done here, I'm going to jump over to a video conference with one of our clients, and I'm going to do just that. I'm going to grab for sale by owners, and I know the script. And I'm going to call these people on her behalf. And I'm going to get her an appointment. Just this one thing is well over $25,000 per person in value. But who are we prospecting, right? Well, how about for sale by owners? 100% of them need you. 37% of all homeowners try for sale by owner. 94% of them list their house. And the average real estate agent has no clue of how to connect heart to heart with that person. We have a script that's worth millions and millions and millions of dollars. If you practice it, study it, make it your own, and deliver it with authenticity. Otherwise, it's not worth anything. We'll also teach and work with on expired listings. We increased our productivity by 2 deals a month just on expireds. 2 deals a month is 24 deals a year. Ladies and gentlemen, the average agent only sells 5 per year. Just goofing off with expireds, we were at 24 a year. We'll also help you with your sphere of influence. Ladies and gentlemen, this particular category right here, the National Association of Realtors tells us tells us all of us are losing 20 deals per year because we are not harvesting this crop. Oh, that's sad. We have a system in place that will absolutely assure you to get the referrals from your past clients and from your sphere of influence. Let me ask you, how much is one client worth to you financially? And if you're looking at it as just one transaction, you've just made a huge mistake, because you should be looking at what is the lifetime value of that client. What is the lifetime value of that client? And see, if we're not developing the habits of practicing and prospecting, if we're not developing the habits of staying in touch with these people in an automated, very simple form, then we have habits that are holding us back, ladies and gentlemen. Now, we've all got habits, and some of them are good and some of them are holding us back. I still have habits, I'm sure, that are holding me back. But are your old habits holding you back? Do you have the habit of practicing every morning? Do you have the habit of prospecting every day you're working? Do you have the habit of operating your business under a system? Ladies and gentlemen, we adjust the habits. We don't just, I'm going to break all my bad habits. No, please don't go there. We replace the obsolete habits with habits that are more pertinent to today's mission. That's all we do. Replace the obsolete habits. Judy Doss, she replaced the habits. There's another young lady, she didn't have the money to jump into any coaching or mentoring system, $1,015 a month. This young lady goes from 23 grand to 96 grand in 1 year. Boom. All under Produce Before You Pay. Now, we didn't do the work for her, so we're not taking credit for her success. Not at all. She did it. But she ran into the only mentoring system in the world that allowed her to jump in it and not have to write a big check, not have to put a credit card on file. The only mentoring system in the world that allows you to do that. A to Z on the foundation. Effective communication. Ladies and gentlemen, I firmly believe that's how I listed 17 houses. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know how to do a comparative market analysis. I only knew how to connect heart to heart with people because I understood personality traits and I understood how to communicate very effectively. And a big part of that came out of the book Think and Grow Rich, which we will share with you through the entire system. Responsible leadership is critical. Presentation skills. You're sitting across a table from somebody in their home and you're asking them to pay you $20,000 or more. Presentation skills are very important. Very important. We'll also get into lead follow-up. No good to create a lead if you don't follow up with it. Most people don't follow up with leads because they don't know what to say. They think they're annoying somebody. They think, oh, I can't bother them during dinner. All sorts of silliness. We want to make sure you have that lead follow-up system in place so you can follow up with the leads. We want to make sure you know what to say, how to say it, how often should you be calling them, all of these things. A to Z on lead follow-up. It's a critical component of any sales organization anywhere. And the listing presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, this is game time. You followed up with somebody so you could present to them. You called them initially so you could present to them. So if we're not really good here, we've made a mistake. So we need to customize this listing presentation for you so you can deliver it with confidence, with certainty, with poise, with enthusiasm. That doesn't happen just because you decided to get into real estate. It happens because you made a decision to practice. And we'll give you every bit of this under the Produce Before You Pay system. You don't have to credit card up front. You don't have to write a big check if you don't want to. We'll take the risk. We're willing to bet on you, application required. We're willing to bet on you if you're willing to bet on you. Absolutely we are. Practicing, we've got the best on the planet to help you get good and get good fast. But you have to engage. You have to take the action. How to work with buyers the right way? Oh, I did it the wrong way long enough. We've already talked about that. So ladies and gentlemen, really it comes down to we always have two choices. I have two choices. You have two choices. Mr. Lindeman has two choices. Everybody on the planet, we have two choices. Same old, or grow our business as we desire. Those are the only two choices we have. I have to believe, I want to believe anyway, that you would not be here if same old was okay with you. You would not be here if you were okay earning what you're earning now. I'm not saying what you're earning is not good. I'm just saying you probably want it to grow. Those are the only two choices that you have. Remember, you get all of this: the simple guide, the daily method of operation, practice with a pro, effective communication. We'll customize your listing presentation. I mean, if you just take a look at those, you've got almost $11,000 in value. That's just that page. Let's go over here. Prospecting in and of itself has got a $25,000 price tag on it. But for sale by owners, if that's all I'm going over with you, $2,000. Expired listings right next to $2,000. Effective follow-up, $5,000. Why? Because the effective follow-up is where the fortune is. How to work with buyers the right way, that's priceless. You get 60% of your time back in your life. Put a price tag on that one. But if you want to add up those numbers, you've got what, 33,800 plus? So we got over $40,000 of value here, all under Produce Before You Pay, the only mentoring system in the world that allows you to get involved, be mentored, be guided by somebody who's absolutely proven it works. And I don't even have to pay for it up front. No. In-depth effective communication. Think and grow rich. That's just this. What we have, Mr. Lindeman and his responsible leadership and his 30 years of building companies, 30 years of taking companies from little millions to big millions. This man knows how to help you set up your business as a business. Presentation skills. Without those, you might be sunk. This man, Mr. Cooper, he is where he is today, ladies and gentlemen, because he took action. Yeah, maybe in the face of fear, but he took action. And I'll never forget what he said one night to me. He said, Tim, I'd have been stupid not to take you up on that. You were the one taking all the risk. I didn't have any skin in the game. All I had to do was follow what you were telling me. If I get the results, it works out. If I don't get the results, I don't pay you. I said, Coop, that's exactly it, man. Judy Doss, she made the investment in herself. Why? She took action. Mr. Grotto took action. They took action on Produce Before You Pay, which was the only mentoring system in the world that allows them to produce before they pay. Every one of them got there because of this system. Plus so many more, so many more. And remember, you get all of this. Simple guide to daily method, practice with the pro, effective communication, customize the presentation. We want to help you produce results. We have a vested interest in your success. Find me another mentor in this industry that's willing to do this. Find me another group of people that have well over, oh my gosh, almost 70 years of sales experience, and they're willing to put that sales experience on the line to help you. If you find that person, take advantage of it. It's an opportunity that you've attracted. Use it. Prospecting. This one thing, ladies and gentlemen, could change your business. Just this one thing. For sale by owners are a gold mine. So are expired listings. If you're not calling those people every day in your business, you're making a mistake. If you're not following up every day, you're making a mistake. If you don't have this, your buyers as a system, you're making a mistake. We can help you and want to help you with all of this, every bit of this, all under Produce Before You Pay. I'll never forget my first mentor. He was such an inspiration to me, and I still hear his words every day. I hear him. And I hear him telling me one day, as I was making excuses for my demise and where I was in life, he said, Tim, you'll either have money or excuses, but you'll never have both. You'll either have the money you want or you'll make excuses for not having it, but you will never have both. So, ladies and gentlemen, we've removed the money from the equation. You don't need any money to get started here. You don't need any money to be a part of Produce Before You Pay. You need a desire. You need a commitment. You need a willingness. That's all you really need. Now, we know we all have disposable income. We're going to waste money. You and I both know that we're going to waste money this week. We're going to waste time this week, and we're going to waste money. We go to dinner, out to the movies, grab a coffee, just buy stuff. That's all spending money. Ladies and gentlemen, at this point, I'm going to ask you to make a wise investment in yourself. So instead of blowing your money turns into more money. Invest in you. See, money replenishes itself. It always has, always will. You go out to dinner tonight, and you have a closing in a week or two, the money replenished itself. Money always replenishes itself if we allow it to. However, your time never will. Your time never replenishes. You absolutely will never get back the amount of time we spend here today. That's why we are so grateful. That's why we have an absolutely awesome gift that we will give to those that are still here. At the end, and let me have a quick look. Did we lose anybody yet? My computer's froze. Oh, okay. Freeze up, computer. We won't look right now. But once again, ladies and gentlemen, your time never replenishes itself. And now it's time for you to take an action. You go to maximizingresultsllc.com. I'll have our phone numbers and email addresses up here in a minute, but it's time for you to take action. You can go back to doing the same old if that's what you want to do. Or you can take an action to start to develop and build a true business. A business that's predictable, a business that's duplicatable, a business that brings in enormous amounts of profits for you and your family. Because make no mistake, ladies and gentlemen, money is good. I know we've got this stigma attached to this. Money's not everything. Okay. Money will never bring happiness. Okay. Now, I agree that happiness comes from within, doesn't come from the outside. In a materialistic, it comes from the inside. We simply decide to be happy. But I can tell you this, money has brought a heck of a lot more happiness than has poverty. Money is a warm meal. Money is a roof over your head. Money is a vehicle to drive. Money is a vacation. Money is your college education for your children. Money is security for your retirement. Now, if we put money before we put other people, we've got a problem. We've got an issue we need to deal with. But make no mistake, ladies and gentlemen, money is good. If you want to give to charities, the charity of your choice, the one that makes you feel super inside, you can give your time. And that's important. And you can give your energy and your effort. That's important, yes. But I think you would agree with me, every charity that I know of out there, they could use some more money. Well, if we'll put together a system and we learn to go out and earn more money, then we can give more money. If we go out and we learn to earn more money, then we can go on more or better vacations. If we go out and we earn more money, we can take that significant other out on that date night a little more often, maybe a little nicer restaurant. If we go out and we learn to earn more money, we can certainly set up all of our retirement, 401. We can handle our own retirement, our own future. And ladies, we'll help you do this. And you don't have to give us a credit card up front. It's all under Produce Before You Pay, ladies and gentlemen. Everything we do is Produce Before You Pay, the only mentoring system in the world that allows you to do that. Now, we haven't forgotten about your free gift. For those that are still here, and see if my computer will let me show it now. I think we've lost maybe one. We're going to email you a template that you can use to create your own simple guide to success. And if you want our help with that, you learn more about the Produce Before You Pay system, and you'll really learn how to implement it. Yes, you'll have the knowledge. Yes, you'll have the information. But learning how to use the information is critically important if you want to use it in the most efficient, most effective manner possible. We will also send you a brief description of the 4 Ps, so you have them near you. And ladies and gentlemen, please don't forget the unique concept called Produce Before You Pay. We are here to help you in any way we can. We built Maximizing Results to do just that, to help you produce better results and do it in less time. We are not very, we're not very enthused about the statistics that come from the National Association of Realtors. They tell us somewhere between 80 and 87% of all real estate agents will fail within 5 years. I think that's disgusting. I mean, they are okay with an industry with an 87% failure rate. I'm not okay with that. So myself and the team at Maximizing Results and the dedication and commitment that these people have put behind this is incredible. We want to change the way real estate's trained in this country, because it's not right when you have an 87% failure rate. Something is wrong. Ladies and gentlemen, I quit school in the 8th grade. I went out and I produced hundreds of thousands of dollars a year in profit for myself and for my family with what we're willing to give to you. My family's okay with us taking this risk for you. But are you okay with taking a risk on you? Are you okay with betting on yourself? Ladies and gentlemen, if you still have questions, my cell number is on the screen in front of you. That is my cell number. It's a live number. Don't dial it up now. I won't answer it. I'm busy. But give me a call. If you have questions, give me a call. Please make them good questions. Hey, does this stuff really work? That's not a question you want to call and ask me. Yes, it works. It works every time for every person that implements it. 100%. And it also fails 100% of the time for people that don't do it. So if you still have questions, my cell number is right there. And I promised I would answer this question. What's the difference in these two groups? Oh, and by the way, ladies and gentlemen, if you look at statistics today, this is just as accurate today as it was 23 years ago when my first mentor brought it to my attention. It's just as accurate today. So what's the difference between 97% and 3%? What's the difference between retiring broke and retiring financially independent? What's the real difference? My first mentor said it's simple, Tim. The 3%ers consistently invest in themselves. They never stop. I started 23 years ago. I've never stopped. I've invested hundreds of thousands of dollars in myself so we could bring this information to you and give it to you under the Produce Before You Pay guidelines. They consistently invest in themselves. So the question comes down, will you invest in yourself? Will you invest some time in learning more about it? Or will you just, follow your intuition and say, you know what, they're willing to invest in me. It's Produce Before You Pay. This stuff's not going where I want it to go. I'm in. That's fine. Get a hold of myself, get a hold of Mr. Lindeman, go to the website and let us know that you're interested, and we'll be in touch with you right away. See, we want to help you as quickly as you want to be helped. Ladies and gentlemen, my name's Tim Burgess. My business partner is Mr. Alan Lindeman, with a host of great people, Josh Burgess, Jim Phelan, and others. And Maximizing Results. It's an absolute honor to bring you this information. It's an absolute honor to work with the Produce Before You Pay participants that are already in the system, already making it happen. Tom Quigley up in Chicago, well, he got 4 or 5 new listings at $350,000 and above in just the last 5 weeks. Why? He's working a system. So if you'd like more information, the phone number right there will work. Any of those email addresses, Mr. Lindeman, myself, Mr. Burgess, Josh, we're here. We're here to serve you. We're here to serve you. And if you want my phone number, if you have any other questions, don't hesitate. Give me a call. Right there's my phone number. Ladies and gentlemen, please allow this day to be the very best day you've ever experienced in this game we call life. Yesterday doesn't matter. Tomorrow is not here, but you can do something about today. You can do something about right now. That's what you can do. So allow this day to be the best you've ever experienced. As you go through this day, please go through the day with a mind full of peace. Calmness of mind is one of the beautiful jewels of wisdom. And as a mentor taught me, he said, you don't have to slow down, Tim, you just have to learn to calm down. Thought those were brilliant words. But go through this day with a mind full of peace. Calmness of mind is one of the beautiful jewels of wisdom. And may God bless each and every one of you. Thank you so much for joining us today.